My name is Sue Graybill. I'm a business analyst in information technology for Lancaster newspapers. When I first came to Lancaster newspapers in the Weeklies division, I worked as the systems manager, and I was there about 4.5 years. We moved a lot of what we did in the Weeklies division into the Lancaster arena, as far as our billing was concerned, the softwares that we used, and that type of thing. When they were deciding that they were going to be putting in new softwares throughout the company, starting with circulation and going the whole way down through, I was approached to see if I would be willing to work as project manager for the installation of these new softwares. I known about Brainworks when I worked for the Weeklies division because originally we thought maybe we were going to use our own software there and not become compatible with Lancaster. When we got into looking at software in the Lancaster arena for our advertising, Brainworks came up, and of course we looked at them. I did investigation on a number of different softwares. We looked at, I'd probably say 6 softwares, came to the conclusion that there were 3 that we were really interested in and looked at them very closely, and Brainworks was the one that came out on top. It had the functionality that we were looking for. That was the biggest thing, functionality both in the ad perks arena, the classified arena, and in the retail and accounting arena. Some of the things that were really, really important to us was the data mining, reporting part of the system. The fact that even though they were not able to do what we did with contracts, which is really, really different than what most people use, they were willing to make the changes to make that work for us, which was really good. No one else could even come close to that. On the AdPerk side, the functionality was just so much better than any of the other systems that we were looking at, and we wanted something that was going to be across the board, as I called it. We didn't want to have to integrate retail advertising with a classified advertising with a pagination. We wanted it to work from here to here to here, and all of it to work together. And Brainworks had that functionality. I like the ease of being able to put the orders in. The order entry is a lot easier now than what it was. The rate engine is so much more versatile, and you can do so much more with it. Before it was kind of like cut and dry, you put the rate in, that was it. For instance, when we went to do the obituaries and we went to do the paid obituaries, that was one of the things. That was so easy to do because we could put the rate in, the rate would work. All they had to do was put the order in, and then we could paginate it. We do something in our company called a church directory. Church directory was something they always did by hand because they didn't know how to do it. It was so easy for us to set that up in Brainworks because now we could set it up with the styles that we needed, we could set it up with the rates that we needed, and we could also set it up so that it was a TF-ed. So that obviously when you have a church directory, it isn't going to change every week. So now we don't have to worry about that. They put it in one time. The only time they need to worry about it is when they go in to use it or to change it for some reason. But if they change one thing a month, the whole 220 of them get changed over to a new ticket number at the end of the month. It gets billed. The person who used to do that and spend all their time doing that doesn't have to do that anymore. I can tell you one place where we've seen a huge difference in revenue, and that was bringing in paid obits and paid celebrations. We're making a lot of money on those where they used to all be editorial before. The functionality of the software we had before couldn't do what we're doing now. Training went really well. It went fast. New functionality is usually really easy to train. Company is very responsive. They're cordial. They're easy to work with. They listen to your problems, and they get back to you. I find that especially whenever they know that it's a huge issue. Like if I have a problem that's not a really big issue, I'll email them and I'll wait for them to answer. But if I call them on the phone and they know it's an issue, I get response. What we look for in a vendor at Lancaster newspapers is someone who's reliable, someone who has a product that's going to meet the needs for what we have, someone who's going to be willing to work with us, and someone who is willing to let us work with them. And that's, to me, is a big thing because we just did a lot of the beta work on the new version 5 for the AR side. And we worked on that for 6 months because there were a lot of issues in there that did not work. And we had their attention. And they worked with us because we said, we want to put this upgrade in. We want to help you with version control. We want you to work with us to be able to do this. I like to be on the cutting edge. I don't like to be the person who takes it after the fact. I like to be the person who does it in the middle of the fact, because you get what you want that way. And so I really like to be on the cutting edge, and we are pretty much on the cutting edge with all the versions.